Hey there, welcome back to the vlog. So today I want to talk about climate change. Until recently, climate change itself wasn't actually called that at all. It was global warming. A quick recap on the names I think are required here. So originally we had inadvertent climate modification. It was a bit of a clunky name, but then after that we had global warming, which is the increase in the Earth's average surface temperature due to the rising levels of greenhouse gases. Next was climate change, which is the long-term change in the Earth's climate or a region on Earth. The term global warming became the dominant popular term in June 1988 when NASA scientist James Hansen testified to Congress about climate. But there's actually more to the story than just global warming. Warming is just one of the 5 major indicators used by the IPCC to determine climate change. But they're not the only indicators, and so you've got other things like sea level rise, CO2 measurements, etc. So the name changed again. Now I have a number of beefs, and today I want to highlight one in particular. Nearly everybody has heard numbers being bandied around like the 1.5 degree thresholds in increased temperatures above some baseline temperature. But 1.5 degrees above what baseline? NASA often uses confusing baselines like this snippet from their global warming site. Quote, worldwide since 1880, the average surface temperature has gone up by about 1 degree Celsius relative to the mid-20th century baseline of 1951 to 1980. This is on top of an additional 0.15 degrees Celsius of warming from between 1750 and 1880. Are you with us? So right there you've got a baseline starting at 1750, another at 1880, another at 1951, and a final one at 1980. That's 4 baselines in one sentence. Now just remember, 1980 is also closer to World War II than it is to today. So this is not recent data. However, what would have been clearer is if they had said that the temperature rose by 1 degree between 1880 and whatever the average baseline is between 1951 and 1980. Can you see the problem here? It's how they're putting the information across. Now, the Industrial Revolution began in 1750, not 1880, and this is why 1750 is such an important baseline. It's the pre-industrial measurements that we need to be measuring against, not temperatures since 1980, 1950, or any other baseline. That's my first beef. The UK Met Office says that global average surface temperature has increased by about 1 degree since the 1850s. The eagle-eyed will have spotted a new baseline here. The IPCC, in their very recent report, have the term pre-industrial, meaning from 1750, and then use pre-industrial GMST. And GMST means global mean surface temperature, which in turn basically means in plain English the estimated global average of near-surface air temperatures over land and sea ice, and sea surface temperatures over ice-free ocean regions. Now, Canada also shows us this wonderful graph, which I'll put on screen now, where the anomalies are relative to the 1951 to 1980 base period. But you can clearly see that things were getting warmer in the period since 1880 on this very graph. So why is the baseline where it is? Simple. It keeps the increase under 1 degree Celsius, and that stops people getting freaked out. The NOAA, or NOAA, they have their nation maps which use a baseline relative to 1980 to 2010. Now this period is apparently used in order to comply with a recommendation from the WMO, or the World Meteorological Association, no, organisation, I'll get it correct, who have a policy where they suggest that using the latest decade for the 30-year average is what everybody should be doing. Now, what is clear is that as time goes by, we have more sensors coming online, we have better measurements, and therefore we have more data. The problem with this is then sometimes this is used as an excuse to reset the baseline. So if yesterday I invented the Acme thermometer with the greatest resolution and accuracy ever seen in any thermometer, then in theory, if I was doing what everybody else does, then I just discard all of the previous measurements and temperatures today and just use the data since yesterday. And this is my major beef. How is the public supposed to be properly educated on this stuff when the people that are presenting the facts are actually shifting their baselines around like they would if you were looking at a prospectus for a company that is about to float on the stock exchange? They're changing the axis on the bar graphs, they're moving the baselines, and this is what gets me. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. I'd be interested in what your thoughts are down below. And, as I said, this is just one of my beefs, and especially since the more recent IPCC reports came out, it just feels like nobody is using the same, y-axis on the bar charts. Everybody is moving stuff around to suit their own agenda, which we've always known has already happened for the longest time. But if you're going to be educating the public in a way that makes sense to the public and actually lets them understand why there should be panic, then by moving the baselines more recently, like 1950 or 1980 or 2000, this isn't helping anybody. No, keep the baseline at 1750, show people what's really going on. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. If you like these, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.